reiterated on the negative impact of the CMI officials at the airport. We have more details on this report.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has identified presence of special security personnel at the Entebbe International Airport as a sign of undermining the country's international image. President Museveni, with immediate effect, has instructed the CMI to leave the Entebbe International Airport.
CMI, what are they doing at the airport? I said airport should be for immigration and police. Yeah. What is CMI doing at the airport? Are they flight controllers or what? I told the other fellow, Kahumra man, then this other one who was there, CMI at the airport, what are they doing?
The president, while passing out 2,000 police trainees at Kabalye Police Training School, directed the Directorate of Immigration to revise means of scanning and checking travelers at the airport.
In 1986, after the reorganization, the police force remained with only 3,000 people. I think the number now is 50,000, but because of budget, we are going slowly. These 53,000 are not bad.
The president also advised officers to upgrade their qualifications for the prevailing crime environment.
I'm now insisting on the electronic number plates. Please, I want my number plates. Don't delay my number plates. I don't want these aimless number plates. I want the intelligent number plates for the vehicles and for the cars. Therefore, you will see these terrorists who have been killing people from Congo. We are going to finish them.
Police commits to retrain officers to match contemporary security challenges.
Sir, related to the above and in line with your directive, the UPF management is in advanced stages of implementing the sub-county policing model, beginning with the Greater Masaka region, where each sub-county will receive a vehicle, motorcycles, radio, and personnel strength of 18. This has been rolled out in this quarter of this financial year.
The Ministry of Internal Affairs has called on the president to intervene on the living conditions of officers, especially in housing.
A police officer, a prisons officer, an immigration officer who doesn't live comfortably cannot serve his country effectively. So, Your Excellency, I would like you to whip the officials of Ministry of Finance to finish this PPP thing. You know, when I talk, they think I'm small and I'm a troublemaker. So, but I will not keep quiet.
The trained officers include immigration officers trained for 2 months, integrated probation police constables for 4 months, and probation police constables trained for 12 months.
Should also be like men. So we tried.
The Vice President, retired Major Jessica Lupo, has emphasized the government's commitment to prioritizing resources, strengthening partnerships and promoting innovations to accelerate the realization of the Sustainable Development Goal 6 related to water and sanitation. These remarks were made during the 40th anniversary celebrations of Water Aid Uganda, where she recommended the inclusion of water aid into the parish development model.
Water Aid Uganda has celebrated 40 years of distinguished service in the sanitation sector in Uganda. During the anniversary celebrations, Vice President retired Major Jessica Lupo acknowledged significant progress in achieving water coverage in both rural and urban areas.
Financial year, we have earmarked resources for the construction of 1,540 boreholes in 1,050 villages and town wards. Building 49 large, 69 medium, and 80 small pipe water schemes in both urban and rural areas. and the rehabilitation and maintenance of 50 water systems in growth centers.
However, she recognized that more work is needed to achieve universal access. The Vice President echoed President Museveni's call to issue strong guidelines to preserve the environment and advocated for the inclusion of water aid in the parish development model.
Under the policy, the Ministry of Water and Environment is empowered to implement the directive. And I'm looking forward to all the partners to work closely with the ministry so that we can reverse the adverse effects of climate change, global warming, which has arisen out of the degradation of our environment.
State Minister for Water and Environment Aisha Sechindi commended WaterAid Uganda for their involvement in combating COVID-19.
WaterAid supported Uganda Water and Environment Week, constructed wash infrastructures, and was very instrumental in the fight against COVID-19 through various interventions.
The country director WaterAid Uganda, Jen Sembuche, committed to prioritizing hygiene behavior change in core public health programs and policies.
And we want to improve the quality of care in healthcare facilities with inclusive and sustainable wash services. Third, we want to promote the ownership and the responsibility of wash across the sector. We want everyone to own this responsibility because it contributes immensely to the economic development that we want to see in Uganda.
Acting Regional Director WaterAid East Africa, Maurice Kwizera, expressed concern about the reality of climate change, which is putting the already stretched water resources and services under threat.
The current reality of climate change is putting the already stretched water resources and services under threat. And globally, the official development assistance disbursement to the water sector has been decreasing.
Last year, WaterAid Uganda launched a 10-year global strategy with 4 strategic aims that aim to reach 400 million people with sustainable services. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Prime Minister, Right Honorable Robina Nabanja, has today met the Chinese ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency Zhang Lizhong, and discussed matters of mutual benefit for the two countries. The meeting took place at the office of the Prime Minister in Kampala. Nabanja lauded the Chinese government for support rendered to Uganda, especially in infrastructural development for the transformation of the country.
Nabanja briefed the delegation that Uganda established diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China in 1962 after we gained independence from Britain. She says that since then, our two countries have enjoyed warm bilateral relations based on collaboration in several strategic areas such as education, trade and infrastructure development.
Uganda has benefited a lot from the relationship with China. For example, China is a major source of foreign direct investment for Uganda. Your funding of key infrastructure projects like Kampala-Entebbe Expressway and Karuma Power Dam, as well as the investment by China companies in our telecom and industrial sectors, Mbali, Kapeka, industrial parks, are contributing to social economic development of our country.
The Premier thanked the Chinese government for granting Uganda tariff-free treatment and this enhanced trade between the two sister countries.
In addition, Uganda and China are trading partners. I want to take this opportunity to thank China for granting tariff-free treatment to 98% of taxable items from Uganda and other 9 countries last year.
The Prime Minister briefed the ambassador and the Chinese investors that Uganda has the best investment opportunities with tax holidays for the investors.
Uganda's policies attract investors, even from other countries across the group. Why? Because we have a tax holiday for 10 years. That's a policy. We can give you land where to put your industries. We can lease land to the investors. And this has happened to them. I think she can now be, she can tell you better that Uganda has got this conducive, and the government has given support to investors. Because one, when you come and invest here, you give us employment. You give our people jobs. And you sometimes, yes, we know the other investment opportunities that you can repatriate your profits.
On his part, His Excellency Ambassador Zhang Linzong thanked the government of Uganda for the cordial working relationship and welcomed Chinese investors into the country. Zhang announced a $2 million support to the people of Karamoja.
Just as your honorary Prime Minister mentioned, China and Uganda enjoys a good friendship, and our cooperation has been long-lasting and deep.
So I want to thank you, our ambassador to Uganda from China. I appreciate your contribution of $2 million support to the people of Karamoja. I remember I had written to you earlier, and so I want you to join me to thank China.
The Chinese ambassador and the investors later met with the Director General of Uganda Investment Authority, Dr. Robert Mukiza, and the Commissioner General for Uganda Revenue Authority, John Musinguzi Rujoki, among others. I'm Nafka Farida, reporting.
The government of Uganda has today held the National Partnership Forum with development partners in the country aimed at promoting collaboration and dialogue between government and partners. The forum took place at Kampala Serena Hotel, where the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja led the government team, while Nabanja asked development partners to align assistance with the government of Uganda priorities and emphasized the need for transparency and accountability.
While presiding over the National Partnership Forum, Nabanja says that this forum aligns with the ideals outlined in our national development agenda. Nabanja says that partnerships are instrumental in harmonizing priorities, mobilizing resources, tackling challenges, and propelling economic growth and development.
We need to expedite our progress towards the goals we set from the National Development Plan 3. Our resilience on collaboration and collective action is paramount, and we will continue to depend on your cooperation to propel us in the right direction.
Ministers General Thacheng and Bright Ramirama expressed concern that development partners are injecting a lot of money in NGOs, but the footprints on ground cannot be traced.
In health, nearly 85% comes from partners. However, the only challenge is that the unofficial part, though it comes to the ministry, it also has civil society and the private sector.
Dr. Chris Badiomonsi, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance and Government spokesperson, read out the resolutions of the National Partnership Forum, where the government committed itself to cooperate with the development partners for sustainable development of the country.
To further uphold our partnership principles, we have agreed to establish a joint accountability and results framework, which will be instrumental in cultivating a culture of mutual accountability.
Kevin Colgan, the chairperson of the Local Development Partners Group, who also doubles as the Irish ambassador to Uganda, lauded the government of Uganda for prioritizing issues that affect the common person. Kevin says that they are ready to continue supporting Uganda in its development agenda.
On this point, I would like to stress that advancing efforts on human rights and good governance are critical enablers of sustainable and equitable development.
In-resident coordinator Susan Namondo says that when the government works in collaboration with the development partners, the country will achieve the sustainable development goals.
We appreciate that the government has restated its commitment to non-discrimination in development as expressed in the different circulars, including the recent budget execution circular of fiscal year 2023-24.
The National Partnership Dialogue Framework envisions a regular and constructive dialogue between the government and development partners.
The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Netamong, has urged members of Parliament from Lango to stop their speculations about government's decision regarding the fate of the proposed Akii Bua Memorial Stadium as a host for the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. Now, this came after these MPs under their body, the Lango Parliamentary Group, expressed their dissatisfaction with government's decision to exclude Akii Bua from the facilities that will host AFCON.
During a radio show on the 13th of November 2023, State Minister for Sports Peter Ogwang clarified that despite the planned construction of Akii Bua Memorial Stadium and Bahinga Stadium, none of them will host the AFCON Games. According to Ogwang, instead, a new stadium in Hoima would be constructed in compliance with the Confederation of African Football guidelines. Now, members of Parliament from Lango, under their body, the Lango Parliamentary Group, are saying this is unfair.
We were shocked and totally saddened by the change of mind of taking away the construction of Akii Bua Stadium from the list of the stadia that will be prepared to host AFCON.
This is not the first time that we are struggling to get a major development to Lango people. And this is not the first time that we are also struggling to make sure that something good comes to Lango sub-region. To make matters worse, the name Akii Bua comes with a lot of successes.
This to show our grievances and disappointment with the government, because this is a breach of contract, a contract whereby Akii Bua Stadium was used as a ladder to rise to AFCON 2027.
CAF mandates that the host stadiums must be within a 50-kilometer radius of an international airport, and the area must have 5-star hotels, and this is why Hoima is being selected given its existing airport infrastructure. MPs are blaming government, which they say has failed to put up these infrastructures in their region, that it's using as an excuse to exclude their facility.
That it is a high time we start being professional, whoever does all this, and also be aware that in these regions that we play around with, there are people there and there are people who demand the service. In terms of revenue, we are the third region in this country that collects better revenue. We pay taxes. But if you see in very many sectors, social services, we don't get it as people of Lango.
Now the Speaker, Anita Among, urged these MPs to stop their speculations in the matter.
Because for you to have one AFCON, you needed to have an airfield in your area. That's when they will put a stadium. And the only place that qualified was Hoima. Only place which qualified was Hoima and Kampala.
Shamim Naiga and Gloria Gutabenji, Parliament.
The Presidential CEO Forum has hosted a high-level consultative meeting aimed at reviewing the progress of the implementing directives by His Excellency at the biannual retreats. The Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, said it was great to hear about the initiatives discussed during the 4th high-level consultative meeting of the Presidential CEO Forum Secretariat. We have more on this report.
Capitalization of UTI and UBC. His Excellency guided that UBC is provided 30 billion annually starting next financial year, and this is under consideration in the ongoing budget preparations. But also we have, as a stopgap measure, supported UBC by providing some supplementary funding for them to operate.
The Presidential CEO Forum has hosted a high-level consultative meeting aimed at reviewing the progress of the implementing directives by His Excellency the President at the biannual retreat. Dr. Ramadan Gobi, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Finance and Economic Development, says the allocation of 1,029 billion Ugandan shillings through Uganda Development Bank for various investments across diverse value chain demonstrates a strategic approach to economic development.
This money is already out there with the private sector, and as I talk, UDB has fully deployed all of the money that we have provided as government to private sector. But now they have a number of needs, a number of applications that they have approved, and we are mobilizing currently more funding for them at a tune of about $250 million.
Prime Minister Robina Nabbanja, represented by Minister Mary Great Chitutu, acknowledges the crucial role of the private sector in fostering economic growth.
Jobs are some of the fruits. As we are saying, the private sector needs to be vigilant, but one of the fruits of the vibrant private sector is availability of jobs for our youth.
Minister Chitutu advocates for the reduction of electricity tariffs to support the business community, especially manufacturers, in accessing affordable power for their operation.
Availability of the power. We are now struggling with PBN, but down at the grassroots, we need clean and available, cheap and available electricity. So this is the task which we have to take on.
By focusing on these aspects, Uganda can potentially realize the outlined economic development goals and strengthening its position for sustainable growth. Joseph Buule, UBC.
Prime Minister Robina Nabbanja has expressed support for the development of new National Transport Master Plan to address various issues and incorporate new technologies in the transport sector. The remarks were made at the 3rd Annual Integrated Transport Infrastructure and Services Program Review held at a hotel in Munyonyo, attended by stakeholders in the transport sector. Nabbanja commended the Ministry of Works and Transport for its leadership in the Integrated Transport Infrastructure Program.
Recognized the significant contribution of various stakeholders and emphasized collaboration between government ministries, the private sector and others. She officiated the 3rd Annual Integrated Transport Infrastructure and Services Program Review Workshop organized by the Ministry of Works and Transport in Munyonyo.
Our nation's integrated transport infrastructure and services plays a pivotal role in facilitating trade, enhancing mobility, and improving the lives of our people, as clearly demonstrated by the NRM Manifesto of 2021-2026.
Nabbanja urged stakeholders to use the workshop to assess progress, address challenges, and plan for the future of the integrated transport program.
The government notes that its program continues to face challenges such as high transport costs, poor road and maritime safety, high costs of road maintenance, traffic congestion, dilapidated transport infrastructure, disaster-prone road infrastructure, inadequate public transport, inadequate regulated transport services, underdeveloped non-motorized transport, and low private sector participation.
She called for quality services and urged stakeholders to deliver quality and timely services, citing the example of the impact of floods on infrastructure.
I mean quality, value for money. Recently, my district was hit by floods. There is a bridge on a river called Kanyangaro, which was constructed in 1962. And there are those that were constructed recently. The bridge of 1962 is still there. It was not washed. But these ones who constructed recently gave way. They gave way.
State Minister for Works and Transport, Musa Echweru, emphasized the critical nature of the ITIS program, especially in addressing matters of national importance related to road networks, railways, water transport, and other vital areas.
What will happen in the next 1 or 2 years, particularly in regard to the roads that are captured in the President's manifesto, if we don't seem to have even achieved 30% of what is in the manifesto by now. My assurance to these participants is that we are going to go back to the drawing board and ensure a number of things. That one, the resources available must be channeled into implementation of the manifesto.
Echweru recommended the government's decision to move from a sector approach to a program approach, fostering collaboration and openness among the technical experts. Mary Namkose, Sodat Kaye, UBC News.
Janet Kataha Museveni, the Minister of Education and Sports, has emphasized the urgent need to enhance the capabilities and competence of teachers to meet global standards. The minister was represented by Dr. Jane Baguma, the Director of the National Curriculum Development Center, at the book launch of Competency-based Learning by Paul Bendere Ntalo. We have more.
The book launched, Competency-based Learning, marks a shift from traditional to progressive learning methods.
Learning by Paul N. Bendera.
In much of the country's teaching, the approach is teacher-centered, with students playing a limited role in the learning process. Stakeholders in the sector argue that students should become creators of knowledge rather than mere consumers of information from the teachers. The book is dedicated to empowering teachers to play a pivotal role in incorporating modern teaching skills, thereby shaping the education sector.
We need to prepare the students for the future. What I came to realize was, most of our teachers, if you asked them, what is the purpose of the education you give to the learners? Or why, when you give the learners the education, why do you assess them? They will tell you, we want these children to pass examinations, we want these children to be able to get a good job. What if a student has completed education, has gotten work, but has reached retirement age?
Representing the Minister of Education and Sports, Dr. Jane Baguma highlights that such initiatives help bridge the gaps in the education sector. The imperative to develop the capabilities and competence of teachers to meet global standards was underscored.
Uganda, like any other African country, must continue adopting the best practices in education operations to produce skilled graduates who will compete in the global labor market. The burden of this task falls on every Ugandan.
Stakeholders express optimism that this initiative will serve as a variable reference for competency-based learning.
So this is really a good initiative, and I pledge my support, and we Ugandans, we should support, and we marked this book.
The Competency-based Learning book has received approval and guidance from the National Curriculum Development Center. Lydia Chomkama, Andrew Sebira, UBC News.
Refugee hosting communities, youths and women have received training in agricultural and hospitality skills, among others, to address unemployment in these communities. Dr. Pavlos Trolis, the country director of Swiss Connect, emphasizes that this initiative aims to enhance livelihoods and contribute to the development agenda.
Swiss Contact, a non-profit organization, was established with the goal of reducing unemployment and improving the livelihoods of refugees, smallholder farmers, medium and small enterprises, and youth. With over 25 years of operation in Uganda, the organization has positively impacted refugees in Nachi Valley refugee settlement by providing them with training in good farming practices and supplying necessary equipment.
They provided to us with good seeds of good quality. Now people changed from planting the bad seeds they have been planting. Now they are practicing to plant the good seeds, which provide us with good yields.
Currently, I have 8 cages. Each cage is stocked with 5,000 fingerlings. That alone is approximately or even worth 40 million Ugandan shillings at harvest.
The organization has also played a crucial role in developing and implementing projects addressing pressing issues in various government ministries.
Jobs and opportunities and increasing incomes for youth, women, refugees, smallholder farmers, to the tune of over 13 million Swiss francs over the last 8 years, to say the least. On top of that, we have been able to mobilize about 14 million Swiss francs from private sector investors and other entrepreneurs to be able to create jobs, opportunities and increase incomes for our target groups.
Youth have been equipped with entrepreneurial skills to enable them penetrate international markets.
We've conducted several business missions out of Uganda. So we get our members, PSFU members, we get them, we connect with the equivalent of PSFU, say in DRC, and then we go with them to the DRC and then have business-to-business engagements. There are also government-to-government engagements because government has to negotiate with the other government about any non-tariff barriers.
However, beneficiaries expressed the need for the government to introduce equipment used in making fish feed, which they claim is expensive to purchase.
And we have enough materials here in Uganda to make our own feeds, but we lack what we call the machines. So I really ask the government to come in, train these people how to make feeds and provide the machines.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
The Prime Minister of Busoga Kingdom, Dr. Joseph Muvawala, is calling on Ugandans to embrace cultural tolerance as the key to fostering unity and development among citizens. This appeal comes as he welcomes a diverse group of well-wishers, including ministers and business moguls, who are contributing towards the upcoming Busoga royal wedding.
A diverse array of contributors, including business moguls, universities and the general public, are actively donating funds for the forthcoming Busoga royal wedding.
It is one thing to deliver.
Uganda Revenue Authority contributed shillings 26 million, while traditional schools like Busoga College Mwiri, Butiki Old Boys Association and Busoga Public Officers Association combined their efforts to contribute over shillings 150 million.
We are proud to have studied with the Chabazinga.
We are sincerely very appreciative and we look forward to having or to continue with this cooperation.
Other notable donors include Cavendish University with 5 million shillings, the Green Council of Uganda with over 130 million shillings, and the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority contributing close to 15 million shillings.
We felt strongly that this is the time for us to identify ourselves with Obwachabazinga bwa Busoga.
We also would like to say that thanks for keeping Chimaka Airport. I must say I am a very, very lucky person to be an old boy of such a great person.
Our university has got as its mission to inspire and transform our students to reach their full potential in employment, in entrepreneurship, and in ethical leadership.
The steady first friend of Busoga and Minister for Kampala Affairs, Mr. Kabanda, accompanied by the city executive and political leaders, brought a contribution of shillings 12 million.
Kitegeeza nti amawanga gonna geewagira so nsaba buli muntu yenna alina kyalina akiyambeko ate tusabe Katonda embaga yaabwe agiteekemu omukisa obufumbo si bwangu nnyo naye nga tujja kusaba nti Katonda era ataddewo eno blessing yonna ajongerere ddala obufumbo bwaffe bubeere bulungi ne ku mbaga gyetu.
Minister Justin Kasule Lumumba, also a member of the Chabazinga's wedding organizing committee, made a significant contribution through the Busoga Parliamentary Caucus of close to 50 million shillings.
As the Busoga region prepares for the Chabazinga royal wedding, the UBC News team explored the Chigulu Cultural Museum, a repository of Busoga cultural heritage rooted in the origins of the Chigulu chiefdom. Located in the heart of Iganga, our reporter Daniel Mugoya delved into the historical and cultural significance of this museum. Take a look.
Established in 2013, the Chigulu Cultural Museum proudly stands as a guardian of Busoga cultural heritage. Housed in a historically significant building once owned by the chief of Chigulu, the museum serves as a bridge connecting the modern generation with its historical roots, preserving the dignity of the African setting.
Because this is one of the oldest buildings in Busoga. Yes, and there are such structures in every chiefdom.
We have a museum
inside the museum, exactly.
Chitalwa Abraham, the museum manager, shares that the initiative for the museum came from the prince and princess of the Chigulu chiefdom.
So first of all, this is the map of the chiefdom, and it showcases the 11 sub-chiefdoms. Remember, there are 11 chiefdoms in the Busoga kingdom, but there are also 11 sub-chiefdoms in the Chigulu chiefdom. I come from Nabikote. I come from Nabikote. Yes.
You can stand here.
Yes.
And you face this side.
Yes.
Where is Nabikote?
Just where you are facing.
In an interview, Abraham guides us through the museum, emphasizing the importance of historical resonance as a strategy to maintain the dignity of the African setting, making the Chigulu Museum a significant cultural player. But were these the strings which they were used even in the past?
No, these are modern.
These are modern.
They used to say so. However, it is the Busoga who told the Baganda to play Entongoli. The Entongoli for the Baganda has 6 strings. The one for the Busoga has 8. So if you take this one to Muganda, you cannot play it because it's used to playing.
Not even the chorus.
Not even.
As the Chabazinga royal wedding takes center stage in public discourse, the Chigulu Cultural Museum gains relevance. Cultural attributes that align with Busoga marriage traditions, such as Akambe Akasoga, contribute to the museum's significance.
So a girl to be married was given by the singer this basket and the knife.
The museum also hosts the ceremonial seat of the chief of Chigulu chiefdom, currently held by retired Colonel Mudola Christopher.
Save for this, but it was made in 1931.
Amidst the challenges faced by indigenous peoples in preserving their cultural identity, the Chigulu Cultural Museum plays a crucial role, gathering information directly from the people and documenting their customs and traditions becomes a vital step in safeguarding the rich cultural tapestry. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
Thank you, Daniel and Gloria, for that amazing report. Well, for now, UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return with more stories. Do not move an inch.
Metu Bus Industries, Namamve, the manufacturers of buses for transporters, schools, tour operators, and special purpose vans and any customized vehicle. Metu Bus Industries offers a range of buses known for safety, comfort, and reliability. Depending on your needs, a bus can simply be a point A to point B people mover with just seats, or a special design that includes power outlet, Wi-Fi, television, refreshment center, and any other specification. Buy your buses from Metu and support industrialization of Uganda. Contact us on 0788 118586 or 0782 030303. Email us metuafricabus@gmail.com. Visit our website www.metubusafrica.com.
Jovia ng'oyolekera ku lugendo luno olw'obulamu nkuwa ekirabo eky'amaanyi agataziizibwa, amaanyi okulabibwa n'okuwulirwa mu mawanga ag'ewala ennyo, okutuuka buli wamu nga yadde togenzeeyo, ensi yonna ng'ekuli mu ngalo. Okutambula mu biseera n'okumanya buli kimu ekirina okumanyibwa. Jovia, kino kye kirabo kyange gy'oli.
Tewali kumuko ki ky'osobola okukola ku mukutu nnandameggwa ogwa MTN.
In this family, we can't agree on anything. Martha. We can't even agree on what to watch. All the games to play.
Martha.
Ndoza Mulabi. We can't even agree on what to eat. At least the one thing for now we can all agree on is the soap to use. He likes that it's big and lasts long. Anti-economy. I like that it keeps my skin smooth. Ate alina echovu. And the children like that. It smells amazing. Everyone is happy. Movit soap comes in 4 fantastic flavors. Movit family soap is truly soap for the whole family.
Movit. All day confidence.
Sebo.
Yes?
This is the bill.
What?
Malaria testing, 10,000. Treatment, 100,000 since we put on drip.
Hey, Musao, can you read this for me? Before I brought my wife here, I'd already spent money on buying herbal medicine and drugs from the pharmacy, which didn't work.
But Sebo, the government gave out mosquito nets. Doesn't your family use them?
We got the mosquito nets, but they got holes and we didn't know what to do.
Protect your loved ones from malaria. Sew your mosquito nets whenever they get damaged to keep the mosquitoes away. Ensure all nets are tied up every morning to avoid damaging them. Ensure that everyone in your family sleeps under a treated mosquito net every night, whether it is a cold or hot season. Together, we can chase malaria out of Uganda. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Global Fund.
No malaria will catch.
Metu Bus Industries, Namamve, the manufacturers of buses for transporters, schools, tour operators, and special purpose vans and any customized vehicle. Metu Bus Industries offers a range of buses known for safety, comfort, and reliability. Depending on your needs, a bus can simply be a point A to point B people mover with just seats, or a special design that includes power outlet, Wi-Fi, television, refreshment center, and any other specification. Buy your buses from Metu and support industrialization of Uganda. Contact us on 0788 118586 or 0782 030303. Email us metuafricabus@gmail.com. Visit our website www.metubusafrica.com.
Era tutukanga tukoba omuntu nti nigasita ndala mukaaga itaano sita isatu ash onige yes
ngaho bakubuza amachanti
nga bamubuza amachanti code nga tumukobata mu nsanvu bino olumalirizawo ngatamwe sente dali kuwayo kumbaga ya mwenemu sawa yeneyo nga kyabazinga amwebaza nga tweyongere kai tujja mu kyalo ekindi
ekikoba embago lunawa luti nga mwira
tulija kumala kai tweyongere emyezi mukaaga nga tukasumisa abantu momope
baba embaga ya mwenemu eriyo nga 18 kai emyezi omukaaga gyoli kuongeramu ojaji
oyidine bya momope abantu yembite yona bandeta momo ono bibali kumpaka ne bya momo pabidi tyama kupichipichi ojo bisomesa
muleke musoni we tyamaja
baba tuka bulungi
simbule mbalasi asumulude
momo nyabo.
Pay or shop with MTN Momo and get cash back every week. It's free of charge. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3#.
Prof by Research, winners of the Best East Africa Brand Award 2023, invites you for the 8th Great Sundowner Centezimera Committee from 26 November to 2nd December 2023, full week blast. Keynote trainer Omukenku Funyanzi Julius, a Chuma Chiwagala Chuma. Topics include Pampers and Vermiculite soil fertilizers production, mechanized banana juice production and preservation, Ganodama mushroom cultivation and castor plant cultivation, aloe vera gel and juice making and castor oil making, bathing and herbal soap production and matchbox making at Tutorial Mall Hall Rooftop from 26 November to 2nd December 2023, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Entrance 100,000 shillings or book via mobile money on 0703 152 152. Buy a ticket at 100,000 shillings and get a free tray of saffron eggs, Ganodama mushroom garden and a training certificate.
African Airline Association, in conjunction with Uganda Airlines, presents the 55th AFRA Annual General Assembly between the 19th and 21st November 2023 at Speak Resort Hotel, Munyonyo, in the heart of Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. In attendance will be 500 high-profile African and global aviation leaders, 40 airline CEOs making strides to transform aviation for development. The 55th AFRA AGA is proudly powered by
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat
exercise profile to adopt and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
The doctor says you are getting better. I have a list of suspects in my file here, but I need you to help me identify the thief who attacked you. This cat thief again.
Malaria is a thief. Don't let it rob you and your loved ones. Prevent it by sleeping under a mosquito net. Clear bushes and all stagnant water around you. If you notice any symptoms, go to a health center near you to test and treat, and ensure to complete your full dose to avoid severe malaria, which could lead to death.
Welcome back from the break, and we're glad that you're still with us here in UBC News Tonight. Now, with more news this evening, the Minister for Microfinance, Haruna Kasolo, has issued a cautionary note to entrepreneurs advising them to steer clear of political involvement. According to the Minister, delving into politics has proven detrimental to many entrepreneurs, leading to the failure of their companies and subsequent closures due to the time invested in political activities. Minister Kasolo delivered this message during the opening of an entrepreneurs conference organized to facilitate the exchange of ideas aimed at furthering developing businesses in the country.
Global Entrepreneurship Conference brings together entrepreneurs from around the world, fostering the exchange of ideas to facilitate the growth of companies. During the opening of this year's conference, Minister Haruna Kasolo emphasized the importance for entrepreneurs to abstain from political engagements and instead focus their time on the development of their businesses.
If you want to fail, you do both politics and business. If you want to prosper, you want to excel, you must concentrate on business. So I want to encourage all my entrepreneurs to desist away from politics.
Minister Kasolo highlighted the government's initiatives in setting up various funds to assist entrepreneurs in obtaining loans for the further development of their industries. He urged entrepreneurs to take advantage of these opportunities.
Maybe they are collapsing because of lack of knowledge. So that's why I want Ochichi, the enterprise Uganda, to widen their scope. I want them to reach out to all business people.
Acknowledging the challenges leading to the closure of many companies, Kasolo suggested that a specific plan followed by industry associations could address these issues. Charles Ochichi, the head of Enterprises Uganda, outlined challenges faced by industrialists, particularly in terms of the taxes imposed on them, which is contributing to the collapse of some industries.
Some of our tax collecting agents do not have a soul. You should be able to say, you have not been able to pay me, but I see the reason is this and this and this and that. Rather than enforcing the act or the law of collecting taxes, you should be enforcing that law while also listening to issues that are causing many people not to pay the taxes.
The withdrawal of Uganda from trade unions, according to industrialists, presents another challenge as tax holidays previously granted for exporting goods.
The defense legal team in the murder case of Susan Magara has withdrawn the torture application that was initially filed before the court, seeking dismissal of the case on grounds of alleged torture during the accused individual's arrest. Lawyer Kumbuga informed the court that despite exhaustive efforts to obtain medical documents confirming the alleged torture from the African Center for Treatment and Torture Rehabilitation Hospital, they were unsuccessful. The Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, has officially opened the 15th Annual Joint Clinical Research Center HIV Update meeting, reaffirming the Ministry's commitment to supporting this center in providing guidance and collaboration for the improved HIV care in the country. The three-day meeting is being attended by over 1,500 national, regional and international participants, both physically and online, at Mestil Hotel in Kampala.
For the last 30 years, the Joint Clinical Research Center has been engaged in HIV clinical research, receiving support from both government and international partners. Uganda's Health Minister, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, officially opened the 15th Annual HIV Update meeting in Mestil Hotel, Kampala, with a commitment from her ministry to continue supporting the center.
So the Ministry of Health will always support JCRC in all ways, because we are all looking forward to two major things, two major breakthroughs. The injectable treatment that is already here with us, and two, the cure for HIV.
This year's meeting is being marked under the theme HIV and New Research Innovations to Date.
A summary of what has happened within the year, what has been presented in big meetings that are happening outside of the country, where many of the healthcare workers and the scientists are not able to attend. But we've also just listened to the whole history of HIV.
The opening ceremony also included a memorial lecture in honor of the late Professor Frank Groziano from the University of Wisconsin, USA. Professor Groziano dedicated part of his expertise and resources to the success of JCRC.
And now to the world of sports. A group of activists in Lango have taken a stand petitioning the Confederation of African Football, CAF, to investigate the circumstances surrounding the change in the list of stadiums presented in the bid to host the AFCON Games in 2027. The recent announcement of Nambole, Nachivubo and Hoima as the hosting grounds for the 2027 AFCON Games has stirred discontent in Lango, especially after the exclusion of Akii Bua Stadium.
The omission of Akii Bua Stadium in Lira City from hosting AFCON Games in 2027 has triggered dissatisfaction in Lango.
It is foolhardy for them to claim that the place is not prepared when it is them who submitted the name. So that means they were, in fact, I want them to be investigated.
The discontent arises from the initial inclusion of Akii Bua Stadium in the bid, only to be replaced by a stadium in Hoima after the bid succeeded. Government has proposed 3 stadia for hosting AFCON, including Mandela National Stadium Nambole, Nakivubo War Memorial Stadium, and a new stadium to be built in Hoima.
And we are very serious. We have given this government 1 week. Wednesday and Friday, our people will have to sit home.
And we shall fight hard to make sure it happens. We shall not relent. We are not even willing to give up. This time around, we need our stadium. Because
the pressure extended to the region's members of parliament, who convened the meeting in Kampala yesterday and decided to meet with the president to reconsider the decision.
After learning this, I expected them to raise it as a very strong matter of national importance.
The possibility of expansion is beyond.
A recent assessment by a team from National Council of Sports in Lira indicated that the facilities do not meet the required standards for hosting the games. A major point of contention was the absence of an airport, an argument rejected by local leaders as misleading.
Government has a lot of options. So we have an airfield here in Lira. They can revamp it probably to support low flights. I want government to be in position to encourage Ugandans.
Every region has got at least where the airplane can land. It is only in Lango.
Former Yam County South Member of Parliament revealed that he has submitted a petition to the Confederation of African Football seeking an investigation into what he termed as unfair treatment.
And we have made it clear to CAF that if they do not take action, we are going to the International Court of Arbitration for Sports, which is in Netherlands. We are going to petition them equally to take legal action against them.
Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
Well, that wraps it up here in UBC News Tonight. Thank you so much for your company. Do not forget to watch the biggest show in the land at 10 o'clock. That is Behind the Headlines with Timothy Nyangweso. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and my colleague Elizabeth Nakakoni on Sign Language. We wish you a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Come and shine in Blascon Paint and win the Twake edition. Buy Blascon Paint worth 100,000 shillings. Get a scratch card and SMS the code to 7197. Not only will you win instant airtime, but you could take home 1 million